What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Tales from the Taro Patch. I'm with a very special guest today. I know him as Bill Maeda. Well, you guys know him as Bill Maeda too, but I'll let him introduce himself. And yeah, mahalo for coming. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kaika. It's an honor to be here. It's beautiful, bro.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
What a privilege to be in this valley with this lo'i patch behind us. It's just so nice. I don't usually get to experience this. So.
Yeah, shout out to Waihe'e Wise. They keep it nice and pristine, him and his business partner Van. So shout out to them. Love you, cuz. So the first question I like to ask everybody, just to get a better idea of the environment that raised them, is where are you from and how was it for you growing up?
Okay. All right, I was actually born in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, I know. My dad was in the service at the time, 68, so kind of Vietnam era,
Yeah.
And so I was born there, but my dad's actually from Maui. My mom's from Lapo Hoi on the Big Island. So they're from the islands. And then so as soon as he got out, by the time I was 2, they moved me back here.
Oh, okay.
So I pretty much grew up here.
Yeah,
I don't
it's not like you remember Kentucky.
No, we were there, Kentucky a little while, then San Francisco for a short while, and then, but to age 2, I'm back home.
Okay.
So this is all I know.
Man, so what town did you grow up over here?
I'm sorry?
What town did you grow up in?
I was in Honolulu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Townside.
Yeah, townside. Very, very towny. You can tell by the way I talk. But yeah. So in Hawaii, everyone wants to know, oh, where'd you go to school?
Yeah. What school did you at?
I went Punahou.
Oh, me.
I went Punahou, yeah. But I wasn't your typical Punahou student. From kindergarten, I was getting in trouble.
Oh, we were
just talking about ADHD, and back then, this was the 70s when I was, that young. They didn't call it that. I think it was called hyperkinesis.
Okay.
So kids like me were hyperkinetic.
Yeah.
And
Too much movement.
Yeah, but I wasn't getting medication or nothing. My parents didn't even know, because I didn't really find this out until much later in my adult life. So I was just this wild kid, and by the time I was in high school, I was having not major problems, not like run into the police or anything, but my grades were real bad. I was a fun guy. I wasn't a punk. I wasn't like beating people up and robbing stores. But I was just kind of a big goofball, and I was always running off campus, going hiking, smoking, just, And so by the time, after my sophomore year, after 10th grade, I left Punahou. Yeah, and I went on to another school. It was called Academy of the Pacific.
Okay.
They closed a few years ago.
Yeah.
But it was Punahou was really good for me in my education, but at that point in my life, I had to go. I chose to leave, otherwise they say, either you choose to leave or I'll kick you out.
Yeah.
Okay, I choose to leave.
It looks better that way.
Yeah. Well, my grades technically wasn't so bad that they could technically kick me out, but the way it was looking for going into my junior year didn't look like things were going to improve, and I had to agree with them on that. So, but this other school, this school back in, I was there in 86 and 87. This school was designed for kids like, whoa, is that a toad?
It's a bullfrog.
Oh, wow.
My bad.
That is cool. Right on. Sorry, that's not me. Okay. This school at the time, this is mid 80s, they actually had 2 sanctioned smoking breaks.
Oh, what?
Because this school was kind of designed for kids like me.
Oh, okay.
And had plenty for kids from the mainland that were sent here.
No.
Honestly, a whole school of that. I met kids from California and from Europe, but all of us were just kind of like, those 80s style kids. Derelicts. Not real criminals, but just, we like this party and couldn't focus. A lot of, I believe the whole school is probably ADHD and everything else. And by the way, ADHD is we were just talking about it. It's a good thing, bro. It's if it's managed and understood, it's super cool. Powerful. I wouldn't want to change anything. Still have it, as you can see, but so it was, but that environment was really, it was helpful. It was super, because I was always fighting the system. You know, I was always this rebellious kid. And this school's like, we're not gonna fight with you. No dress code. You wear what you learn best in.
Okay.
And I was like, oh wow. And as soon as you know how it is. Like as soon as people say, "Bro, just do your thing," then all the fight goes out of you, right? And then you agree and you comply. And these guys had it figured out. I got good grades there. You know, it wasn't as hard as Punahou, but it was challenging. But I just straightened out in that environment.
That's
really
good.
I got along with my parents after that, and I have no regrets. Yeah.
Oh, that's solid. So did they close down because of COVID?
Okay, you know, they made it through COVID, but you know, it was a struggle being up at that location for them. You know why? Since I was there, several other schools that specialize in kids like I was have opened. So the competition, I believe, was, you know, there were just more options for parents with kids who are kind of like me. And I think I heard even for, like, you know, if you talk to the big school, like Iolani, Cam, Punahou, they're always trying to like balance budgets, and you know, they need the grants from the different foundations, because you know, a lot of people think that Punahou, Iolani, even Cam, you know, they're subsidized still, despite the tuition that the parents or the families pay, that's still subsidized a lot. So it's tough, you know, it's tough being in any industry right now, but so.
And dang, your schooling kind of sounded like interesting. I wish I went to school with you. I feel like we would have got along.
We would have. My academics was, and you know, just to let you know, a lot of people kind of like, I shouldn't say mistakenly, but you know, sometimes think from like social media. You know, they think I'm an authority on what I do, or like I'm some kind of. I like people to know. And I used to be super ashamed to say this, but I am not a college graduate. You know, like, congratulations to you recently,
Right on, mahalo.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, good job, brother. But back in the 80s and the 90s, I was very just all over the place, and and you know, I have to say this, and I don't mean this to come off bad, but in hindsight, I like where I am currently in life, and I like where I've been. My path thus far, it's been rocky and hasn't been without some challenges, but that's just being a human. But for me, I'd have to say, it worked out. But I also like people to know that I'm not a college educated authority on physiology, biochemistry, diet, any of that stuff. So when I give out information, I usually frame it in the context of what I've experienced and what has worked for me.
Exactly.
But I always caution people against taking what I say as something they should do. I remember seeing one of your videos actually, and you were pulling like a crazy amount of weight with like your mouth and your neck. And you put in the bottom here like, this isn't like me recommending you guys to do this exercise. I just know my own capability, so I'm doing it. I put a lot of disclaimers, disclaimers on the disclaimers. Because the thing that what I post, I think you know, but I don't post for like what I think is going to get views or go viral. Whatever my workout for the day is, that's what you post. I'll post either the best or the worst. Like sometimes I've posted things like me tripping over my barbell and then falling on my dog, or you know, just whatever is either entertaining or educational. So when I do those, what I call a head lift, you know, I bite that towel and instead of like a deadlift, it's a head lift. It might look like something that we're doing for the gram, but I've been doing that for years. And if you look back on my Instagram, you'll see that lift over and over and over. It happens to get sometimes views. In fact, people are bored. They see it. They've seen it so often now. It's cool. Like nobody. But when it first came out, people are like, Jack Han. To this day, I do not know who or what Jack Hanma is. is that an anime? Okay, people started telling me, bro, this is what an old fuck I am. Okay, when I first started posting on 2020, I posted kind of like an aggressive exercise, right? And then somebody posted a comment that said "One Punch Man." And I thought the guy was kind of challenging me. So I said, no, thank you. That sounds like it would hurt. And the guy was like, fuck. Like, he was laughing. He was LOL. I'm like, why is that so funny? Then I learned One Punch Man is an anime. So I guess he was comparing me to this character, One Punch Man. I thought he was saying, bro, if I saw you on the street, bro, just one punch, you're flushed. I'm like, you probably are right.
Oh, that's so hilarious.
That's how, so anyway.
That's funny. That's so funny.
But yeah, so... No, so the stuff I post is just what I'm doing, and I really don't recommend a lot of what I do to others, either if they're kind of new to it, this whole thing, or whatever. It's just what I'm doing. But now I'm kind of changing my content so that I'm doing longer form videos on YouTube that I do explain, like, less, I don't want people to think, oh, this guy just come outside, rip his shirt off, like, do this and that, go inside. No. Sometimes it takes me 20-30 minutes just to do the 1 8-second video. Because I gotta get through my knee and then my ankle, my big toes all screwed up, and my shoulder, I gotta work that. So now I'm showing people the process, because I think that's a more honest portrayal. I certainly don't want people thinking I'm more than I am, because I've got tons of stuff wrong with me. Mentally, I get all like, I don't want to do this, everybody else, so,
Well, I feel like that's what makes it extra motivating, is that you're just like everybody else, and you're a normal guy, and freaking life happens to everybody, but bro, it's what you do and how you handle it that what like makes you a winner or a loser, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, no, I think that's the more important message. Before I was just trying to get people kind of interested in what I do. Because I was like, before it was like, well, because all this stuff that I'm doing, I started doing that in my little gym, my studio, for over 20 years. That's because all I've been is a trainer. I didn't have other jobs. Out of high school, I told you I tried college, year and a half, no good. So I moved to Los Angeles, and I moved to Venice, California. So I was in my early 20s, and back then we didn't have internet, or well, they had it, but it was like
it's not like today.
If you wanted to actually learn how to, like, I wanted to be a trainer, and so to me, Venice, California was where everything was happening. So I moved to Venice, and how many guys like me back then were trying to follow the Arnold dream? When I saw Muscle Beach for the first time, I was like, wow, this is where Arnold was, right? And then I'm walking on the boardwalk and going to Gold's Gym, Venice, doing all that. Thousands and thousands of people did that back in that time. Probably still now they're doing that, but I moved there to kind of learn, about training, and then actually I started getting more into the Hollywood stuff in the 90s. That was like the heyday for the for Hollywood movies. All the big budget movies started, and because I was kind of a bigger than average Asian guy, people at the gyms and stuff, a lot of industry people work out at everywhere you go. So they started, and I can't act a lick, so I never really got any good parts, but I would do stunt stuff, or, background military kind, just,
Well, that's fun. Cool. At least you got to, like, experience that industry.
And, back then, wow, it was literally, I didn't go there for that, but Hollywood back in the early to late 90s was on fire, even into the early 2000s, That's when they were really making good movies back then.
I feel like now all the movies today is either like remakes of movies from that time, or they just try to like convert a book or something. There's no original stories anymore.
It seems recycled content, repurposed or
everything,
right?
Or they try to make like sequels now. It's like, just make new movies. Come on.
I know. It's like, I missed that.
Like the Mummy series, that was a good one.
Right. They had this.
Brendan Fraser. He was pretty A-list in the 90s.
Big time, He
kind of fell off though.
Oh yeah, for sure. But What was that movie he did recently where he was that big guy?
Oh, The Whale, yeah.
The Whale.
Yeah. I never watched it.
That's not a movie to take your date on, bro. That's like, you come out of that, you're like...
Heavy.
Bummed. Yeah, you're like, geez. But it was a good movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's the kind you watch at home by yourself.
Yeah, at home when you just want something heavy and good. So
during your upbringing, like, what was some of the values that were instilled to you as a child?
You know, I was a very wild kid. I was hard for my parents to, if they tried to tell me to do things, in hindsight I realized, man, I really made it hard for them, you know, and I was kind of a frustrated, I've said and you know, anyone that knows me, I struggled from an early age, like little baby kind, from just real low self-esteem. You know, I would get frustrated and I'd break my crayons and crumple the thing and I'd get punished. You know, because back in that time, 70s and the 80s, you know, they didn't have like counselors that would say, oh, hey, take Bill to the counselor, and the counselor, oh, okay, that's frustration. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of it. No, you got like your shit pulled out.
Yeah.
Back then they could crack you in school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, I would have art teachers just wallop me if I'm melting crayons against something and just making a mess because I'm all just like fixated. This is cool, bro. I don't realize I'm ruining crayons and making a mess. But you know, when you get punished like that, and then they make you sit in the corner of the room. So it's like you get kind of like a lot of humiliation, and you're told you're a bad kid. I kind of carried that with me. So, you know, a lot of the values that I have now came from being a dick. And just like not having much value. You know,
like through hindsight, you learned it, huh?
Yeah, because easily my first 30, maybe even 40 years of life, like not until I had my children did I really realize like how self-centered I was, how I literally. And God bless my mom. She spoiled me. My mom loved me. She'd beat my ass too, but she loved me. And you know, I have a brother and a sister, so I had siblings, but she really took super good care of us. I mean, she would feed us, like, you know, like being hungry or that was like bad in my house. You know, like, we were fed to the nines and just, but I just learned that. You know, I didn't really have limits on me when I was younger. And I've had actually clients who worked in, they were psychotherapists. And he even told me, I talked to him about my problems. He says, it seems to me you grew up without limits. And I said, wow, you know, I think you might be right. I never thought of myself that way, but because I always did everything to excess. I'd eat to excess, I'd exercise to excess, I'd smoke weed to excess. You know, everything that I liked, I was gluttonous.
Okay.
You know, so if I can go back to your question, having my first child, she's 20 now. You just met Barry. You know, sorry if. That was kind of a wake up to like, and I wasn't the best parent. You know, I was still stuck. I was a big kid, you know, even though I was like in my early 30s, which is kind of old to be starting a family. I was still like, I was freaked when she was born. I wasn't earning much money. I was just the same screwball I was in my 20s. So but I fell in love with that. You know, the first probably year I was like kind of my wife, I let her do everything. It's super stressful for her. You know, I'm sorry, sweet pea. But I made her do everything. And I was just kind of like in the background, and the baby would cry and say, "Hey, just let the brother. They gotta like learn how to toughen up," you know. And it was terrible. But then. I remember one day I was just kind of like sitting at the table, and she was in a high chair across from me. And, you know, I was just used to kind of like zoning out and just like, there's a baby, but the baby doesn't understand anything. So I was eating soup, and we had some sourdough bread that my mom or someone brought back from San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
You know, that thing's kind of
tough.
Kind of like work that thing out, right? So, but I like doing that. I like taking a bite and going rending on it like an animal and just kind of rah, and then have some soup, right? And then so I'm like ignoring my daughter like I normally did. feel so bad after. But anyway, and then all of a sudden I hear, dip it. And I look at her, and she's like just sitting there, no shirt, just in her thing, you know, just like a baby looking at me. I'm like, huh? And she goes, you got to dip it. I said, because she saw me doing it.
Yeah.
And as I dipped it in the soup, you know, the soup, right? She's like, and then I'm going, and she goes, dip it. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I didn't even know you understood anything.
Yeah.
But she was watching me, what looked like to be struggling. She knew to dip the, because I guess she liked to dip her bread, and, you know, because it's too hard for, so my wife taught her dip. So she's done, Dad, you stupid ass. Don't struggle, dip it. And from that moment, my heart was like, oh, you understand? I thought babies were these primitive aliens, right?
Like not
these
even
little
conscious.
things, they scream and they yell and they poo and they pee and they crawl, right? But they're actually, and that moment, I'm like, you are, I even told her, I told Leslie, my wife, I said, oh, she's like a person. Listen, of course she's a person, I'm like, oh, and then at that point I was like, oh. But then, you know, you struggle with them. You start really, okay, yeah, you wake up, you start taking it, and then you realize how much stuff your parents went through. Yeah. And how all that food and all the clothing and all the stuff they just provided for you, and you realize how hard that is to get. And you're like, and I used to just like go playground, grind the hole right through the knee of my pants, and my mom would patch it up. And if you couldn't patch the patch, then you gotta get new I never realized. Yeah. So a lot of the values I have came from not having values younger. Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't a sociopath, you know, robbing banks. But I just lived very for myself. Yeah. Without really realizing, you know, and people were all, I just was fortunate that I lived in a world where people were accommodating of me. At the same time, I would get corrected, you know, like, you know, I'd certain peer groups, or I guess because I was selfish, you know, I'd get kind of shut out, and I'd feel like, wow, what's wrong with me? But now I realize, you know, you're a selfish, kind of just self-centered, and whether you know it or not, it doesn't prevent the consequences. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, so going forward from that, and then I had cancer. So my daughter was born in 2004, 2012. So a few things happened.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Shortly after my daughter was born, like within months after my first daughter, Barry, was born. Another reason why I was such a shitty parent to her in the first at least year or more of her life was I got in a big fight with my parents, and I said some really, really hurtful stuff to them. Yeah. That was, I mean, and you know, they pretty much almost disowned me for 8 years. They wouldn't take calls, nothing, yeah? And because I was so close to my family, both my mom, my dad, and even my sister wouldn't talk to me at the time, right? So I was like, that was heavy. Every Christmas, my poor wife, I'd start getting angry and smoking weed and pissed off all the time, and just made so many of the holidays shitty because that was a big time for my family. And my mom made it such a big thing, and and then, you know, I started like, I was just living wrong. You know, I never did hard drugs, you know, but when I say it was weed, my thing was weed. I just weed, you know, and it's cool now. But back then, I was using it for all the wrong reasons. Just like we were saying, it's a tool. Yeah. It's a tool, right? Yeah. And so then by 2012, so my daughter was 8, I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer, and it was bad. It was so bad because I was having stomach pain, and then my client one day, I went to work, he said, "Bro, you look really pale." And I looked so bad that, and I'd been feeling kind of weird. Yeah. But anyway, long story. He calls my wife, says, "Bill's," and he said, he told my wife that I'm slurring. Oh. And I thought I was clear. I thought I was just tired, bro. Don't come on the train. He's all, no, and he knows my wife. My client, this guy, been with me for years.
Okay, you guys are close then.
Yeah, you're close.
He knew something was up with you.
He knew something because we've been trained for years, and he's known me. And turns out we go ER. they said, we're going to give you an x-ray. My tumor was so big, it was in my intestine. They said it showed up as a big black hourglass on an x-ray. Oh. And you know, your guts don't really show up on an x-ray, but necrotic dead tissue does. I guess the x-ray doesn't go through it the same. So then they put me in for emergency surgery. I had my ascending colon removed. Oh. And then I went on some 6 months of chemotherapy. And I had that, you know, that was, whew. You know, they say that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah. Well, at the very least, it should make you wiser. Because up until that point, you know, my diet was just shitty. Yeah. Like, you know, this sounds crazy, but I used to, like, on Sunday morning, I had a neighbor that worked at the chocolate macadamia factory, and they'd leave boxes in the lobby for the other. I would take 2 boxes and eat the whole 2 of them with coffee for breakfast. And people think, and I still look like I was bigger than this back then. I was like easy 215 back then, and just. And by the way, I know people want to know I've never taken steroids. I look you in the eye from my heart. I've never. So I was just out, and I could eat like that. Have cancer. They said the cancer I had took 2 years to develop. Oh. The whole time I'm just tired. I thought I had an ulcer. But no, it's cancer.
Oh, so you felt it when
I felt it for like at least probably a year. Let's say 2 years. I was feeling like, but I just felt like I had like indigestion. Yeah. And then if I ate something, usually something weird, right? If I ate something sugary, I felt okay. But then I learned later on, what does cancer love? Sugar. Yeah. So it was like this demon that's like, feed me, bro. If you feed me what I want, then I'll make you feel better for a little while. It was like some evil thing, bro. So
that's scary.
Anyway, got through that, but I really I used to also think that I was one of those fucking jackasses that like no one could kick my ass, and if I were to crash in a car, I wouldn't die. And if you shoot me, I could take it. You know, it's just a complete lunkhead. And that's what I'm saying. And it wasn't when I was 20. I was like way too old to be thinking this. And that was my mentality. But I realized I thought that way because I was actually scared. I was so insecure by the time I was that old that I had to start thinking like that to defend myself from all those years of feeling like I was actually weak and knowing deep inside that I was. So that's why when you see guys around 40s and even my age or older, and they still kind of making
puff their chest.
Yeah, you know, kind of like the way 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds might be. I see kind of them going through what I was going through. You know, I see in them what I can relate to that. But I also know what it is. So, and then there's some guys that just truly they're badasses, and I'm not gonna do that. But so once I kind of realized, wow, you're very mortal. You are very mortal. And you can't just say any old shit you want to, because I thought my parents was unconditional love. I was a spoiled brat. I was like, go to their house, even at age 30 something, age 40. I could go in the house, just start raid the refrigerator like when I was 15. And then, leave my dishes in the sink, leave. Oh, I got a baby, mom, sorry about the dishes. And like, I was a total grown-up teenager. And I realized there's limits to everything. There's limits to what you can say to your parents, to the people you think, because I basically abused their love, and I learned that, and then I'm not gonna say that led to my cancer, but I think the environment that I created for myself, I'm not gonna blame them. The environment, the way I was living my life, and the circumstances I was bringing to myself probably resulted in my cancer. And then I realized, oh, you can die, motherfucker. And I was like, okay.
We're fragile. It's a miracle that we survive every day, honestly.
It really is. No, I think there's a lot of statisticians that say, take any human being, and you take all the variables out there that could go wrong. Every minute you're not dead or being destroyed is actually a miracle. Because statistically, if you look at all the things that can go wrong inside, outside,
literally this tree could fall on
in the
us.
Universe, in our solar system, like how many comets could be running into it's a miracle. Every minute is like crazy, right? So mathematically, they said it doesn't make sense to be alive. So anyway, So after that, and then one of the upsides of this 8-year separation from my family was that when I called my mom and I told her I had cancer, that she came back. She said, oh, and I didn't know at the time. My poor mom and my dad, but especially my mom, because the way she was, I didn't know that earlier in that year, this was 2012, that in the beginning part of that year, my sister was diagnosed with 2 types of breast cancer. Earlier in that year, and now we're kind of in October of the same year. Now I'm calling her saying, Mom, I got stage 3 colon cancer. So she's looking at 2 of her children potentially dying. But you know, at the same time, it brought us back together, and that's where I really kind of learned, because if you ask people that knew me not that long ago, I was kind of a different person. Like, I posted a video from my YouTube channel back in the day, I think 2010 or something like that, I forget, 2012 maybe, where I dislocated my shoulder doing something, and you can see the way I was built back then. You know, I was 215, I was big, but the way I walk up to the camera and just the way I strut, you know, I look at that guy, I'm going, oh, fuck, jeez, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of cringe, when you look back at yourself.
It's cringe. That is cringe stuff. But I posted that because I wanted people, I wanted the people to see, number one, hey, young or old, we get injured. And then, but more so, I wanted people to see, like someone said, one of the comments was, gosh, in all these years, you haven't changed. I said, I have. I weigh less, and I don't have that strut anymore. And they got a lot of people like that comment, because it's,
they notice it too, that's why.
You can see, I've posted a few videos of me back then, and you just see it's just, and it's unconscious. You know, it's just like, because I used to wonder, how come when I walk around the mall, you get some other bull guy start going, what the fuck?
They're always looking at me.
And I'd be like, what? I'm not doing nothing. What are you looking at me for, you fucking? And he's like, you know, it would be like that, but now I realize I was walking like shit, right? And then of course, you know, you get other guys and they might be kind of like same insecure like me, and it's on, right? So now I realize, don't be, God, jeez. So what I learned was, hey, you're mortal, you're super imperfect, and you got a lot of stuff to clean up. It might take you the rest of your life. And once I kind of just came to terms of just let go. Stop trying to put on this persona. Stop trying to be, you know, I realized all the muscle I used to have was armor. Was just kind of like, you know, some people dress a certain way, some people get tattoos or whatever. My thing was, I gotta be yoked and everything, and walk a certain way, you know, like walk like I weigh more than I actually do and all that stuff.
Walk like you kind of wipe your ass.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that big body and everything, but I was like, bro, you're a dad now. And plus, look at you. You know, who cares? You're like 50 by now. Just chill. Yeah, so I got through the cancer, thankfully. By the time 2014, my second daughter was born, and she's a miracle baby, because anyone that's gotten the kind of chemotherapy I got, you should be
sterile.
You're a nuclear wasteland. You're like, you're like
poisoned.
And you know, and they said, before I got the chemo, they said, if you want to bank any embryos or something, now's the time. After this, bro, you're done. And I'm like, but anyway, without getting into the details, my second one showed up, and she's healthy and beautiful and good. You know, I do have to say, I know there's also chromosomally maybe some risk that she would be at because of the drugs. But every day I just go forward, and I'm grateful for her.
That's beautiful.
So that to me was like, I realized what a asshole I was. But I also realized, you know, I took responsibility for it, but I didn't blame myself. I was like, okay, you know why you're like this. You understand the circumstances that made you like this. And it took a few things to get you to kind of really look at yourself this way.
And recognize
you're not an X-Man. Yeah. You're not immortal. Yeah. You're not a bad mother. You're scared. You're super insecure. And you need you need to just start building yourself back up. And when my second daughter was born, it was like sort of like an indicator to me that, hey, that was kind of like life saying, hey, it's not all bad, bro. Like, look, you have another one now.
Blessing.
And in a way, it was like kind of a symbol for me to like just, okay, I'm gonna start something new. Yeah. And because I felt like a lot had been taken away, and I never thought, why me? Yeah. I never thought, why me? In fact, a part of me knew why. When I got that cancer, and when my parents when they separated them, I shouldn't say shut me out, because it sounds like they're to blame. Okay. I should say when they separated themselves from me, I just, those were things, I learned a lot. It really put a lot of perspective on my life. So,
or a definite perspective shift.
A paradigm shift.
Yeah.
I went from, and I also have to say it wasn't that hard either. If you truly just let go of your ego.
Yeah, ego is the big one.
And because it wasn't hard, because I realized how much all that armor and all that veneer that I put on myself, how much it had damaged me. It didn't protect me. It didn't protect me from cancer, didn't protect me from ruining my relationship with my family, didn't protect me from being a shitty father and a dick of a husband. And when I say dick of a husband, I was never abusive physically, but I was a kind of distant, and I was so into my smoking my weed and lifting my weights and just myself. For a lot of the years of my marriage and with my children, I was just kind of distant. I wasn't connected. So, but knowing that now, and once you realize that, then change should not be. It should be self-evident.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like the only thing you can do.
Yeah, literally.
Like, it's like when you throw a rock up in the air, you don't have to tell it to come down. It's the only thing that can happen. Yeah. And that's why this new path for me is kind of, it flows now. Yeah. I realize how much resistance I was creating for myself. And and in a way, once you kind of let go, you understand, hey, everyone can kick my ass. Yeah. A woman, people, I remember one time I was training this one lady. She's very meek, Japanese lady, very proper. And I was trying to teach her how to throw a punch. Yeah. Not so I could teach her how to fight, but just so she could learn how to move her body fast. And I also feel it's good to, explosive. Yeah. It's good to learn. And also, just in case you need to, it's just good to be able to move, to have the sense that you can move your hands quickly. Yeah. If maybe not to punch them, just to get them up, to defend yourself from like something coming. And she said, and I showed her, I punched the heavy bag that I have. She says, oh, I could never do that. I said, why not? She's like, that's not me. I said, and she had a daughter. I said, so if somebody hurt your daughter, if somebody did something right in front of you to your daughter, and her face went, oh, fuck you. Yeah. I said, okay, now go. Yeah. So I learned anyone can kick anyone's ass, and certainly plenty of guys can kick my ass. So I just let go of that, and I'll walk around the mall or the store like I'm just like, I'm a guy, bro. Just please don't hurt me. And there's actually strength in that. Yeah. And just allowing myself to be vulnerable and tell people, yeah, I'm not college educated. And the car I'm driving was made in 2007. The thing I rolled up in. No more paint on the hood, no more paint on the roof. People will recognize me in the parking lot of places. Hey, Bill Maeda, you're the guy in your car. They see me get in my car. My car is like beat. There's time where I didn't even have the driver's side mirror because somebody would sideswipe me. It took me like 3 months to get a new one because they couldn't find one. But I'm like, I'm not ashamed anymore. I'm like, this is my car. This is my car. I love this car. This car reminds me because I got it when my daughter was like 4. Oh, okay. And we were thrilled. It was like a spaceship to us. And I remember how I felt when I got that new car. I was like, oh, I love this car. So even to this day, it's all beat up. No more paint. Everything breaks. Every few months, I got to fix something. But And I can't afford a new car. And I can say, I can't afford a new car right now. Yeah. Because everyone thinks that, oh, if you're a Instagram guy, you get this many followers, you're rich. And
Yeah.
maybe for other guys, but not me. I'm not a good business person.
I mean, definitely if you figured out a way to monetize your 2 million followers, that's definitely
You know, I have people that are working with me to do that because I'm a simple, low tech.
Yeah.
You know, my entire social media last 4 years, since 2020, every single thing that I've posted is done off either an old iPad or an iPhone. I've never used a camera, and I've never used a laptop.
Mean.
Yeah, but you know, I kind of want people to know that because there might be a lot of people who are thinking, oh,
they need all this
media.
kind of equipment.
And I say, no, everything I've done has been off out of date iPhones and super out of date iPads.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, like, the first year that I was doing this stuff in 2020 that the selfie camera is low grade.
Yeah.
So I did all my videos using the selfie camera because that way when I walked out to in my yard, I could see that I was centered.
Yeah.
But if you look at those videos, they are so grainy and shitty. And that was 4 years ago, and even the camera technology, right, has changed. So maybe a selfie camera now would look. Those are so unusably.
Yeah.
But hey, that's okay. You know, it kind of gives you that retro.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That look. Yeah, you can see that.
So, what kind of started you on your fitness journey? Like, was it you were always like kind of just wanting to be big?
Well, having kind of the kind ADHD that I had when I was a kid, you know, I was the kind of guy. I was like, you know, like.
Oh, you're
fidgeting. I'm so old now, I can't even do that anymore. But it's like, I should take that for granted. Wish I could do it now. But so I was always physical. I used to like to climb, run, jump, just do stuff. But I was also lazy. So if I got tired, I would be like, no more. And then I saw Bruce Lee. When I was, 7 or 8 years old. I saw him doing nunchaku. It was on network TV. That's all we had, right?
Yeah.
He's like, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. And so all these muscles on him. I'd never seen muscles like that. I've seen guys that were big.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen people that were ripped. Like, and the way he moves, like, ta-ta-ta-ta. And I see all these, like, traps. And I see his upper pecs. And the way he would move in those forearms, those sinews, he'd go, I'd be like, oh. And that just... You know, a lot of people might have just watched that Bruce Lee movie and said, that's a cool kung fu flick. But that changed me, man. When I saw that, I was just, that's it. And from that point, I started doing push-ups that night. I didn't wait till the next day. After that, so I'm supposed to go to bed. I said, no, Mom, I started doing the push-ups. I'm trying to do it on my fingers, and I couldn't. So I was just doing, and so that look was, the look of muscles to me was, you know, other people look at like athletes and when they saw a running back they want to be a good running back.
Yeah.
Me, when I saw, because then shortly thereafter we had Schwarzenegger, then we had Stallone, Van Damme, and then Dolph Lundgren, you know, the Ivan Drago, and then Carl Weathers, and then Herschel Walker, guys that look like that. I was like, that's looking like that. When I was that young, I said, if I just can get just a little close to that, I don't need anything else. And so that's kind of what set up. But I have to say that, you know, Schwarzenegger was certainly inspirational. I read all his books. But the way Stallone looked. And I can relate to Stallone, the characters, because I always felt like, you know, because he was always sort of like kind of the underdog. And deep and down, I told you a few times already, I kind of felt like a loser. You know, I try to make like I'm, you know, at the party, or I'd be like, hey, what's up, hey, everything. But deep down inside, I was always so super insecure. And if I went up to a girl, I'd be like, hey, what's up, Karen? And she kind of like. I would feel so bad for like weeks or months or something, you know. So Stallone, the way he looked like a warrior, right? A fighter. And and then when Rambo and his first all that came out, I was like, So anyway, that's kind of what got me Hollywood, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure. So like during your cancer scare, like what was some of the, I guess, most important things that got you through it? Like, because it sounds like that was a real like maturing time in your life too.
It was, but you know, the way I dealt with it was not necessarily, it was, okay. I am not advocating what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that if I go to a fortune teller and she says, tomorrow you're gonna die, whether that's complete hooey or not, if I believe that she's a real fortune teller, I'm gonna make myself die the next day. So I say that because as soon as I found out I got what kind of cancer I had, and then the kind of chemotherapy and the treatments and the surgery, you know, people were trying to say, hey man, do you know what the odds of you surviving? I said, don't shut. I don't want to know any statistics. So I researched zero about cancer. And that went on for the years following my cancer. I didn't want to know what my odds of remission or of
any statistic.
Not remission, of getting it again, whatever that word is. And then what my odds of like the first month out I didn't want to hear any of that. Because if you told me that, I would create that.
Yeah.
So, and I still to this day, if I get another, I'm still not going to research it. I don't want to know. I might research the nutrition side.
Yeah.
A little bit more, but the only thing I read that during the time I had cancer, the only thing I remember really reading was Lance Armstrong's story of how he overcame his cancer, because he has multiple cancers in him, and he's, I believe, still alive.
Yeah.
Right? So I only wanted to hear about the guys that won.
Yeah.
I didn't want to know what my odds of losing were.
Yeah.
And like I said, I still do that today, but I'm not necessarily recommending that to others, because I think the nutrition and the lifestyle, because for years after cancer, it wasn't until about a few months ago that I'm trying to get more than 5 hours of sleep. My entire life, I've only gotten 5 or less hours of sleep.
Oof.
Stupid.
Yeah.
And I know that's like the number one thing that can cause both cancer and dementia is not enough sleep.
Yeah,
so I'm well on my way to dementia. But I care about that now, and I'm trying to see if I can still damage control, right? I mean, so, and then the other thing that, talking about cannabis, okay. Cannabis was a tool. In my high school years, it kind of got me through the rougher spots of being super insecure, but then I overused it in my college
young adult years.
And it started to have big drawbacks on me, to the point where I became a total stoned idiot, saying the kind of stuff I said to my parents and being, just a jackass. And then though, the chemo made me sick. Yeah. And I was bummed. And all I could do was lie around. You have no energy. You're just, it's like having a 6-month flu.
Can you explain chemo real quick?
The chemotherapy was, it was basically intravenous infusion of if my body was a battlefield, and there were enemy soldiers running around inside this battlefield, chemotherapy is like napalm and carpet bombing. So you're trying to put a chemical into that goes through the entire body,
kill everything,
in the hopes of it killing any cancer cells that might have migrated to other parts of the body.
Okay.
While trying to minimize the damage to the surrounding area.
Yeah.
But, and all chemos are different, and there's much worse than what I had, but you can feel it's doing that. I mean, to this day, I still have peripheral damage in my fingers and in my feet and my toes, and it affects the circulation in my, not terribly. I kind of, that's another reason why I work out daily, is just for circulatory things.
Yeah.
But, so it's basically chemical warfare against any cancerous holdouts that could be still in the body.
Yeah.
But it really, it's I don't wish chemo on anybody, because a lot of times when you hear people, cancer survivors, having after or effects or consequences,
it's from the chemo.
It's more from the chemo and the radiation.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't get radiation.
Okay, they go hand in hand when they usually do it?
You know, apparently for the kind I had, not.
Okay.
And there's some people that will get colon or other that will need radiation, but for some, mine was such a localized lesion. They were able to cut out the section of the intestine, pretty much, but they did see that some of the cancer cells had entered the lymphatic system. And if that happens, now it can go anywhere. That's why I had to get yeah,
my grandma passed away from lymphoma.
Right.
And it's crazy because like it happened so fast, I feel like, because like 3 months before she passed away, she was calling me on the phone to like come move home, and I was a bonehead living with my girlfriend, like, yeah, whatever, grandma, I'll come home. And then freaking the next call I got was, right, you better like come say your goodbyes to grandma.
Yeah, no, it can and
I was just like, what? Like, there's no way. Like, she was just telling me to move home. Like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way she's passing away. But then, bruh, like, I came to the farm and like, I basically watched my grandma pass away. But it was crazy because she like held on until like me and all of my siblings were around her. It was kind of nuts. Cause like as soon as we all were there, that's when she passed away.
Right? Yeah, you know, my dog did that with me, and they do that. But people can. That's where you realize, man, life is so
precious.
It is, and the will, the human spirit. That's what just makes you like your grandma, and even something like a dog.
No, for real.
The body is different shape, but that spirit inside, there's no difference.
And then it's like once the spirit is gone, like you know the body is not them.
It's just me.
Yeah.
When my mom passed away in front of me, I couldn't believe it, how it looked like my mom, but you know the spirit. And it's just so shockingly like material. Yeah. It's material. You're like,
that's not my mom. Yeah.
It's not your mom. Yeah. And then I remember I went and saw, you know, when they had to cremate her, my other family members, they sent me to do it because I was the best able to do that. And I saw her again before we rolled her into the fire. And I looked again, I'm like, that's just nothing. That's flesh. Yeah. It's just material. And it's not a bad thing. You know, because what I think would be worse if you still think that's your mom.
No, yeah, for real.
Right? Yeah. So, it's not a bad thing, but you're just shocking.
Yeah, it is. It's like like the realization is so like, it's kind of peaceful almost, because
it is.
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's to someone listening who hasn't experienced this, it sounds terrible. Like, oh my God. It's not. Because like I said, the worst alternative would still be thinking, that's my mom. Oh, would you go in the fire? No. Bye, mom. Yeah. That was just her vessel. Yeah?
Yeah.
I was used to wonder, why do they call dead people who've passed, or they refer to their corpse as their vessel? But I fully understand that. Yeah. So it is. It's like a car. Yeah. Carried them and then they got out. Yeah. And now it's just a car.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
So
the car.
Yeah.
So what do you think was some of like your biggest eye-openers from doing content? Like, did you ever run into like any negative, like, I guess, situations, or more positive for you?
Okay, you know, I started the whole thing, you know, where it's April of 2020. Hawaii, we locked down in March. Yeah. So everyone remembers that. I think the whole world locked down in March of 2020. So by April, I was kind of like a little bit bored, like everybody, and also real screwed up. Like, you don't know what this thing is yet, right? That was only a month in, and you don't know if like this thing gonna like blow through the wind, and
or even how they like was making like people vaccinated and unvaccinated turn against each other. Bro, that was crazy.
Yeah, I know. It just turned into this big thing, right? So, but okay, so I started posting to YouTube.
Okay.
April of 2020. I was training clients on Zoom, and a lot of them, we're all just doing everything. Everyone's doing the same thing: eating, watching TV, just kind of watching the news, trying to figure out what's going on, confused, worried about our businesses collapsing. You know, it's kind of a weird mix of kind of like a weird party, but you're waiting for bad shit to happen the whole party, right? You can't really, you're trying to party as it's okay, well, hey, we can all hang out, we can eat, we can do, but then you're waiting, like you're watching stuff on the news, you're watching people die, all the old people passing away.
That was crazy.
Right? And so, so I was working with a client. He says, bro, I can't get my shit going. My gym is closed, my country club, whatever he was going. I said, well, bro, we'll just do it at home, bro. You have stuff at home. He's like, well, are you doing any? I said, and I kind of wasn't, right? I'm like, oh. You know, he's like, I tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Videotape you doing what you do. And I'm not going to do the same thing, but I think if I can just run that, if I can just play that, post it to YouTube, send me the link. I said, you sure? He said, yeah. I said, okay, fine. And I think that's a good idea. I've had nothing else to do. And you know, for people that are watching that can't get motivated to work out, forget social media. Put your camera on wherever you're going to work out and start videotaping yourself. And you're going to have the best workout of your life. And so once you put a camera on people, it brings out a different thing. No matter what they're doing. If they're like peeling carrots and you start videotaping people carrot, they're not going to go and peel. They're going to make all the peels right here. When it's a secret, bro. It's a hack to being able to work out. So I put my camera out there, and it was super lame because I didn't want to make it too crazy, and I was actually really out of shape because I was going through depression. I wasn't really working out at the time. So I think it was just push-ups. And I posted it, and I sent him a link. I asked him later, bro, he never. But what happened was later on, my wife, Leslie, she said, what happened to our YouTube account? I said, why? She says, we're getting all these freaking notifications. I'm like, what does it say? She says, we're getting like comments and then people subscribing, and I'm like, and hey, this sounds crazy, but I didn't know. This was 2020. Yeah. I didn't know that you can make money on social media. Honest to God. I didn't know that people had monetized YouTube channels. I mean, I'd watch YouTube a little bit, but I was so out of that world. Yeah.
YouTube is more bigger than TV nowadays.
It really is. Yeah. I think I watch more YouTube.
I watch more YouTube than TV.
I really do. Yeah. But turns out people were kind of just, the video was getting out there for some reason. And then I did a few other people saying, oh, are you going to do, that was cool, man. So I started doing it every day. Just a 10-minute workout every day. And none of my clients ever watched it. But people from just everywhere started saying, thank you for doing, man, you're going to do this every day. I thought, oh, I think I got to now. Yeah. And I had nothing, and it was just 10 minutes. And I didn't have all the joint issues I have now. We can talk about that later. But so I did it, and it just started to grow. And I did this for over a year, well over a year. And I didn't say a word. I was so shy. Oh, yeah. We were talking about that, right? I was so self-conscious, and going back to the low self-esteem. Yeah. It sounds crazy that people are saying, man, we love this. Thank you. The comments were so nice. Yeah. And of course you have the steroid comments every year, right? It's YouTube, right? And social media. And those are fine. I totally understand that. But I still did not have, I was so kind of insecure. I couldn't talk. I thought, you're such a...
Like, who am I to be talking?
Yeah, what do I got to say? It's all I can. You're lucky there's people watching this shit. Don't ruin it by talking and showing people how stupid you are. So I didn't say anything for it. And then after, I think my YouTube went from like 1,000 subscribers to maybe one time I got around 50,000. Oh! And I didn't know if that was good or not. I really didn't. I was like,
think about like you being in the Blaisdell. More people follow you than could fit in that building.
I just didn't do that. I was just like, because one of the good things about having kind of that low self-esteem is you don't feel like anything that good that happens is real. Yeah. You think, oh, you know what? Anybody that posts anything for like this, they all got 50,000 subscribers. So then my daughter's like, Daddy, you have, holy shit. Why aren't you doing TikTok? Because at the time, TikTok was starting to
take off, right? During the pandemic.
Even before, but by the time everyone's locked up at home, that was the best time for TikTok. And I looked at her, I said, TikTok? She's like, you got to start doing TikTok. I'm not a pedophile. And she's like, what do you mean? Isn't that the one where all the young girls are all shaking their ass and twerking? She's like, Daddy, Coca-Cola's on, it's not like that anymore. I'm like, so she told me what it was. I thought it was long videos. No, short videos, right?
Yeah.
So she says, Daddy, just clip something, just find do something like 2 reps of something, 3 reps, or 1 set, and post it. So the first thing I ever posted to TikTok was me shooting a rubber bear with a bow and arrow. Just because it was a funny video. It's just something from a vacation. I'm just shooting. It's totally irrelevant, right? Just shooting me. And of course, nobody gave a fuck, right? I'm like, yeah, that's about right. And then so I just went to sleep. Next day, I went out there and I did my YouTube video. But then I went and got the video. I found this thing where I held 2 kettlebells on my feet and I did a pull-up.
Oh, okay.
And I posted that. And that was, I think, the second video I ever posted to TikTok. The first one was a rubber bear. Yeah, so that thing went to 1 million views overnight.
Cool, huh?
And then I guess they're called followers?
Yeah.
I got a subscribers. The followers started just coming in. Boom, 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 boom. In a short period of time, my TikTok went to 1 million.
Oh.
But I was like, so once again, I was like, that's just that thing that these things do. Everybody gets and I didn't look at a lot of other TikTok stuff. I was posting to it, but I was still watching YouTube, so I'd post.
Not realizing how good you're doing on TikTok.
I really didn't. Honest to God, I didn't. And then my daughter's like, Daddy, you are getting... Well before I got to 1 million, my daughter's like, Daddy, you are blowing up. You got to get on Instagram. And so I'm like, what is Instagram? She's all... she rolls her eyes.
Explaining every single one to you.
Okay, it's like, you know Facebook? I'm all, yeah, I know Facebook. I do Facebook. She's like, okay, it's a young it's like the modern version. I said, it's like for people who are not your age. I said, what's the advantage of that? Why don't I just do it on Facebook? Because I was doing YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
So, Daddy, no one gives a shit about Facebook, bro, except people your age. So she made me an account, and then I started taking the TikTok videos with all the TikTok watermarks
just posting
and throwing them on a Instagram. And I didn't know at the time Instagram didn't like that.
Yeah.
So my Instagram grew super slow. But I figured, hey, fuck, I already got the TikTok. Who cares if it grows slow? But then people started, the algorithm is going to kind of slow those videos, what is shadow ban.
Yeah.
But if people share it, the algorithm can't do it.
Yeah.
And a few of the videos started happening. So then slowly, but much slower. And my daughter said, Daddy, if you can get that many followers on Instagram, that's big time. Or she said, if you can get 100,000 on Instagram is way better than 1 million on TikTok. Yeah. So she kind of made like a challenge, and I'm like, oh, okay. But I kept all the TikTok watermark. If you go to my Instagram in the very beginning, you'll see TikTok. Yeah, but then I learned how to, take that off.
Yeah.
I still think TikTok new. I mean Instagram new. Just because you remove the watermark, it still has all the TikTok code in it.
Yeah.
I don't think I was real, but it did grow eventually, and then I guess here we are. So. But I didn't start this to be a social media guy. I still don't know really. I'm just learning, like there's some agencies that have said, hey man, we can help you monetize and this and that. So I'm getting a few sponsors and I'm getting a few partnerships, but at the same time, I told my wife, it stresses me out because sometimes, I feel like I'm now making videos to represent products.
Yeah.
And the products that I'm representing, I authentically like. I use them, but I'm starting to get other brands and things are saying, hey, we got krill oil or just various like
random stuff. Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I can't do video. And they're offering me money to make a post or a story on that, but I'm like, I literally told my wife, I got this one product. I said, everything in this box, I and everyone watching my videos can get at Costco, and there's nothing about this that's. And they were offering me, more money than I normally make. But I'm like, no, I have to say no. I don't.
It's not your values.
It would just because the best way for me to actually, that kind of stuff I feel would. If I'm doing this for money, that's one of the best ways to not get money. Yeah. Start posting that kind of. Pimping
yourself out,
Kind of, So. it's nice to be acknowledged this way, but at the same time, in fact, right now, literally, as we're speaking, I've let go of my social media in a way. Like you just said, I'm at 2 million, right, or whatever. And that's normally a time, and at 2 million, man, the offers come in. But at the same time, coincidentally, I am beat up mentally and physically, and I feel like I'm kind of drifting. You know, like it's like we were just talking earlier about, you know, me trying to kind of stay true to myself and who I really am. And I really felt like I was going out there just to post something to keep that algorithm
momentum going. Yeah.
Right. And I realized that algorithm has trained me really well. And whereas what I should actually be doing is training myself. Before I used to go out there and I trained myself. Yeah. I trained my mind. But now I realize, no, I've been trained to go out there. And I'm so beat up from every day. A year and a half ago, I should have backed off.
Recover,
and get to the point now where it's just sitting, like normally 2 weeks ago, you and me sitting this long in this chair, I would say, Ikaika, I'm sorry, I gotta get up, bro. And I would have to like work out 3 different issues. I had so much tension and so much, pulled my hamstring and it never healed. Just so many things. My shoulder, I'd have to like kind of work my neck out. The fact that I can sit here like this, and it's just been, well, maybe almost 3 weeks now. But yeah, my exercise right now is being okay with not getting the views, because the videos I'm posting now, it's not all that weight spinning kettlebells, you know, kicking heavy bags and all that. It's me getting out of a cold plunge, me having dinner with my wife, me stretching, me doing a real easy exercise that older people can do. And those don't, understandably, they don't get the kind of views that the other videos do. And my numbers on YouTube and everything, you know, you can see the analytics. They're all going down. Not a little, a lot. But my thing is, you know, the most important part of this is for me to truly be okay with it. Like, for me to go below, like say a bunch of people unfollow and I go to 1.9. So I'm no longer, I gotta be okay with that, you know, because if I really want to do this, I really want to use my platforms to spread a message. I want to spread the message to the people that are willing to wait for the good stuff. And if there's certain people that are only here to watch me beat myself to death, then I guess they're free to go.
Like why are you gonna try and cater to those ones?
Exactly. And you know, I'll never really know who most of them are. But I'm gonna bring that later on. I'm not done there with that. But right now, I will not be able to do that for even another 6 months. I will hurt myself or even kill myself.
No, I remember seeing your post kind of recently. You said like, I'm taking a break because this rest has been very...
I love that. And if the message I'm sending to... I know there's got to be at least a few thousand people that are doing the same thing I'm doing. Either for social media or just for girls or for whatever, for likes. Beating the hell out of themselves, if not physically, mentally trying to post,
Brad, like you were saying, like people only see the 8-second clip. They don't see the hours you put into freaking planning your attack, editing, all like trying to figure out what you're gonna say, bro. All of that stuff.
All the fights I get into with my wife because I'm like doing stuff at the dinner table and I'm not paying attention to my daughters, and like they deserve that. I'm not saying that she shouldn't. She has every right to, but you get so caught up like, hey, you know what? If I can't post this, no one's awake at 11. I gotta do this shit now. And then you get caught up in that social media hamster wheel, right?
No, it is a hamster wheel.
So my thing is, when I'm at this momentum right now, I have to be willing to turn away certain offers. And I don't want to sound like a cocky asshole. Because people that truly. If I'm going to be true to my family and myself and actually be able to do this long enough so maybe to help other people, because that's not what it is. Before it was just like, can we do this? It was just, does this really work? What I'm doing, does this really work to build a social media? And it worked. But now it's like,
now
it's a
people
message
are like,
I'm sending.
yeah, they're like counting on, you know, like people, your
kind
poster.
of, yeah. But now it's like, is the message I'm sending to people healthy and good? Do I want other guys even 10 years younger than me going out every day and beating their asses down and trying to show like, look what I can do, look what I can do? Because that's what I was doing. I was like, that's not right, you know? Okay, so now I'm saying, okay, sorry guys, I was kind of full of shit for the last few years. I'm actually beat up as hell. It hurts. Yeah. I walk like an old man. I can barely get up off my couch. You should see me in the morning trying to get out of bed. It's not inspiring. Everyone says, Bill, you're inspiring. I'm going to start showing people the not inspiring stuff so that maybe they'll be inspired to have a more balanced approach themselves if, God forbid, they're following what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's why I always say, please don't follow me.
Yeah.
I know that I know they're called followers, but to me they're people.
Yeah.
You know, you know, for just because that's a terminology, you refer to them as, or people refer to these individuals as followers. But when I refer to them, even when I talk with my wife, I refer to them as the people that watch my videos, because I certainly they shouldn't follow me. Number one, I don't recommend that, but it also keeps me on the level of where I should be, as I'm a person and they're a person, and we all try to get something from each other, hopefully, right? But I am not above them. I'm not their leader. If I inspire them to do right by themselves, I'm happy. But yeah, and I also like to show people that the other side of this, so that they're not left thinking that guy's, for lack of a better term, oh, he's better than me, or I could never be like that, or no, there's.
Oh, we're just regular brothers.
We're regular brothers. I'm made of the same stuff that everybody else is, and so.
Well, that was
the first time I actually talked, the comments just came flooding in on that. They're like, you speak English?
Oh.
And all kinds of shit. Like, you sound like you from California. And the comments were hilarious.
That's funny, bro, honestly.
But I know what it's like to be like super, like, I was so afraid to talk and to like, just, show my personality, because I'd say, who the fuck am I, right? But
no, exactly. Right, I hate when people like come up to me and they're like, oh, you're famous. I'm just like, no.
I always,
I'm just a humble taro farmer, trust me.
That's what people, like, sometimes every now and then someone come up Costco, hey, you Bill Maeda, bro, can I take a picture? I'd be so honored. I'm like, fuck, bro, I'm honored. Bro, I'm honored to have a picture with you.
Yeah, no, for real. That's how I feel.
You and me, we're just two brothers. I'm not fucking nobody. Just 'cause you see me on Instagram, I'm not special at all, bro. I'm like, so, come on, I'm just, cool. But no, to me, it's humbling.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's humbling. I feel more connected to people now that I've been doing this than ever before. So, I know. I was on you happen to know, what's his name? Dr. Joey Munoz he's on Instagram. He's a PhD guy that, his thing is kind of, I guess, trying to keep the fitness industry and the nutrition industry authentic by maybe confronting or giving a opposite opinion of some of the common stuff.
Oh, okay.
And he goes after some big names.
And he just gives like the opposite opinion.
Kind of like, like everyone's saying, like, anything from blending your fruit is going to give you diabetes to artificial sweeteners are terrible for you. And he'll give, kind of a opposite perspective of it, and he backs it with evidence that seems quite credible.
Like, he does his own research.
He does. Yeah, because he goes after, like, I shouldn't say goes after, but he will confront certain things. Like, there's a guy that's Gary Brecka. He's kind of a big name. Dana White of the UFC, right? So Gary Brecka kind of brought Dana back from the brink of some really bad health issues.
His doctors is telling him he only had like certain amount of time to live, and
just a few years to live.
And he basically told them, like, I'm not gonna listen to you guys, like, I'm gonna figure out my health on my own.
Right. And so that guy Gary Brecka, apparently, but no, this young guy, he's 30 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so you both are young just getting started, man. And so I was on his podcast yesterday.
Oh, mean.
Yeah, and we're talking about, you know, this social media and how, because another thing that everyone's saying is how bad it is for, you know, how it's causing more depression in society and more separation and alienation.
Yeah.
But you know, we both agreed it's a tool.
No,
it's
for
a
sure.
tool. It's like a hammer.
Exactly.
You can hammer a nail.
You can whack somebody in the head.
Fire. You cook your food. You can cook yourself. So it's a tool, and that's, I think, at the end of the day. But yeah, for me, I'm always honored, and the more I seem to get into this social media thing, the more humbling it is.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Because I think people are just so. I have so much more respect for people now, just strangers and just people far away, because, you know, they comment, you know, you get comments from, you know, from Brazil and just wherever, and you realize that's so crazy. There's people thousands of miles, but they have the same feelings, and, you know, they're like me, but they're
exactly. They're just like us.
Billions of them, and they're everywhere, but we're fucking all the same, and it's trippy, right?
Yeah. Super stony stuff.
It's cool, yeah.
Frick, I'm just gonna make sure.
You ever done one entire podcast and you forgot to turn the camera on?
Oh, I don't even wanna remember those times.
Oh, I know. You gotta do that a few times to remember never to do that again, though.
Literally, or even the worst one is
the battery.
We filmed everything, but the mics wasn't on.
I've done that too.
Bruh.
I've done that too.
So like, I'm over there trying to like freaking salvage whatever crappy audio I can pull out of it.
Got picked up from the mic on
and it's just
you gotta do all that at least one time, you know, because once you get burned like that,
you never do it again.
You go, because one time I was like, I had this thing, but I had it rolled up in a headband.
Oh, okay.
And I was adjusting the headband, and then I did this, what I felt was the perfect, I was doing a tutorial, and then some days you can't talk for shit. And this day I was rolling, and I was like, fuck it, I'm seeing all the right shit, and I'm demonstrating all right, and the lighting's perfect. And I look, video's still, okay, so good, I turn it, and then I want to play it. No sound, I'm like, what the fuck, I'm turning off the Bluetooth, what the fuck, where's the sound? And I can't figure it out, because I was kind of new to this part, right? And then I go to not this part, but the other one,
the receiver,
that one, muted. I'm like, how the fuck this thing? I learned that if you take that power button, you press it once.
Yeah, it mutes.
So I guess when I like moved my headband, I had squeezed the button once and I muted it.
Yeah.
So now before I roll, make sure the camera's going, check that thing, make sure there's no muted, right?
You gotta
make sure I didn't press it by accident too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Mic check, we're good.
Yeah.
Well, you need water or anything before we start?
I'm good. I got my drink here, and
yeah, I'm just gonna grab my drink real quick.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I'm just gonna enjoy.
Hi, honey.
Hi. Hey, so why don't all the Point Factory around here?
Yeah, like 5 minutes down the road.
Yes, we are at it right now.
Oh, right on. So yeah, why don't you get that for dinner?
Okay, what do you want?
I don't know, Lao.
Their Kahlua pig is super good. Their luau stew.
Lao Kahlua pig.
Yeah, he's saying the luau stew is good.
Tell them they have to try the sweet lady.
The sweet lady.
You guys gotta get that.
You can't say the sweet lady.
Okay, I was gonna get you the. Okay, all right.
Just get a bunch. Okay.
Okay.
Love you. Bye. Yeah, because I know they're talking about going to Waihole. So that's why I'm glad you said you like it.
No, yeah, it's the owners of that is actually my papa's first cousin and his family. So
they got a little flooding a few weeks ago.
Yeah, small kind, but they're hammers.
I know it's funny. They had the news out there. The guy's like, I don't know who that you know him, but the guy's like, that's all right. We're fine.
Yeah.
It's like, don't worry.
Normal.
Yeah, easy.
They'll deal with it.
Right. I'm sure it's probably not the first time.
Yeah, not even the worst time either.
Oh boy.
Like sometimes the freaking bridge looks like it's gonna wash away.
Oh boy.
It's kind of nuts.
Wow.
But yeah, it's crazy when it's basically a stream, that's why, that floods and it just overtakes the road. So like people that live Waikane or even in Kualoa, like they're stuck.
Oh.
Until the flood like subsides.
Oh. Wow.
Cause yeah, it's a lot of water, right? You kind of underestimate the power of rain.
Right.
And like, flash floods are so crazy. When I was a kid, I thought waterfalls started because there's like a lake on top of the mountain and it overflows.
Right.
It's really just a mountain catching all the rain and funneling
Right. It's just funneling.
Literally, because it's not gonna go through rock.
But you know, up in these mountains, everywhere, koalas, there are like
pocket ponds.
Pockets, right? Because I seen drone or helicopter. These beautiful. It looks
pristine,
like magic. It's like that, and I would imagine no human body has ever been in that water.
Or for hundreds of years.
Or for maybe some Hawaiians, like that's a test of manhood. They'd have to climb that shit and go jump in there and anoint themselves. But I would imagine for hundreds, I was thinking that's got to be the most sacred. Like if you were to actually jump in that water or just get that water in here, you would be like never the same.
Yeah. My friend, he works for OISC, which is Oahu Invasive Species Committee. And his job, he basically like rides in helicopters and surveys the tops of the mountains for invasive plants. But he was telling me like he gets to see some spots that have guaranteed been untouched by humans for like hundreds of years, and they're like so pristine. Like he said there's this one area he knows of with like a koa tree that he thinks is like an actual like kumula'au from back in the day, because it actually grows straight, because koa trees nowadays, they don't grow straight over here. But it's like back in the day they were growing straight because they needed to make canoes with them.
Because they couldn't make the like big long. How come they don't grow straight anymore?
I just feel like the environment changed. Like it's not like it's all Hawaiian forest now. It's all freaking rubbish trees and invasive stuff. So that guarantee affects how the native stuff grow alongside it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So in the old days, it was like a lot of coal.
Oh yeah, lots.
It was like.
But it's nuts too, because Hawaiian hardwoods, they grow so like slow.
Slow, yeah.
Like long and slow. But it's super good wood.
Yeah, koa is it's a world class. No matter where, people from Africa and everywhere, South America, they see koa wood, they just go, holy shit. You just feel that. It's it's the most beautiful wood, Hey, you know, Ikaiko, if I were to angle myself a little more so I can
you can rotate your chair, guarantee.
I just want to be able to. We're still.
I'm just gonna
double check.
quick,
Just double check, because I don't want to make sure there's not one leaf in front of me, or if you need me to move.
Nah.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, we're perfect.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm just gonna shoot our intro real quick, and then freaking we can get it. I sent you the questions, or you want to look through them real quick?
No, I don't. You know why? I want you to just do them raw.
Raja.
I like to just have spontaneous. I'm not I kind of like just any kind.
Oh yeah, I had your questions from a long time ago already.
Just and anything that just comes to mind, bro. I don't.
Yeah, I usually just use the notebook as like a guide for the conversation, because freaking sometimes I get a little, what were we talking about?
Right. No, I know. Hey, is that a vape?
Yeah.
What kind of mix do you have in there?
Freaking, it's just a mango flavor, nicotine.
What's the strength of the nicotine?
I think 5%.
5. That's a pretty good one,
Yeah.
Well, what's the high? Can you get 16?
Frick, I don't know.
I've heard like you can go up into like 16 or something.
Yeah,
I remember I tried 8.
I remember one time I tried my friend's one, but it was too much. Like I got spinny and throwing up.
Yeah, you get like.
I don't like that feeling. I just like the little buzz it gives me. It helps me be less nervous.
Do you have ADHD?
I like undiagnosed.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
I never went to the doctor for it, but I definitely.
Yeah.
But
I don't consider it bad.
Yeah, it's not. I feel like it's a tool.
Because to me, if I took some kind of drug that actually make me like everyone else, then also
you lose
my
your
ability
advantage
to do this.
Yeah.
To talk and to have that
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I feel like I'm a good multitasker because my ADHD.
Yeah.
Like I can freaking focus on a bunch of different things at the same time. But then that fucks me in the ass because when it's like time to do schoolwork and stuff, I'm like the Mr. Procrastinator.
I know.
Bruh, like I'll literally wait till like the last minute to freaking turn stuff in or do it.
One of the more helpful things I heard was it's not attention deficit. It's actually kind of the opposite. Your brain is trying to focus on too many things.
Yeah.
It's not a deficit in attention. It's like
a
too much attention
overstimulation
directed at too many things.
Yeah, hey, that's so true. Because it's not like you're lacking. It's like you're freaking overcompensating.
Yeah, it's not like you're like,
yeah.
No attention.
So
it's the opposite. Yeah.
Generally, like one of the ending questions I like to ask all my guests because it kind of relates back to Hawaii. What does aloha mean to you?
Aloha means, when I say aloha to, like on some of the end of my videos, or when I say aloha to people, I'm wishing them, I don't know, for lack of a better term, I'm wishing them, in a way, I'm trying to kind of cast a spell on them that they're, whatever energy that I could project to them would, it's not just goodbye. It's like, I want to send you off with a piece of me that I hope leaves you feeling better or at rest, even in a way protects you. You know, I learned when I was little that I'm Bill, but the name William apparently means protector. And it's weird, but I've always been, even as a young child, very protective. You know, that's why when I was a little kid, I was really into like warfare and guns, and I wanted to be in the military. And I trained in high school to be special forces, and I couldn't get in because I got surgery here and stainless steel, and the military won't take that, or at the time they wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I've always been very protective. So even when I say aloha to people, I'm trying to project just a little of my will that they will go off from our exchange as not just feeling better, but better.
Yeah.
Just better. Sort of like I try to cast a spell.
Yeah. No, I like when you said that, because that's actually like very, yeah, it's true. It's like you're like a good spell. Like you want to wish them love, or like, yeah, almost.
Yeah. In fact, now I sign off on some of my captions. I used to say much aloha. But now I've kind of changed that into love and aloha. Because I want people to know that, because sometimes people look at my stuff and they think either he's a tough guy or you got to be a tough guy to do what he does. Yeah. And tough guys don't say love. Like, and then, you know, there might be some guys that hear like aloha, they go, that's that, you know, that Hawaiian stuff. Or that's you're trying to put and I certainly don't mean to use it that way. When I say aloha, that's why when I've added love in aloha, because much aloha, that could sound like kind of like something you hear at, you know,
at the beach,
or you know, at the hula show at the hotel. Oh, much aloha. Whereas love and aloha is something that I feel people would be like,
it's more authentic.
That guy, you can say love. Yeah, I can. And that's, and when I say that, it's not just, much aloha can be like, hey, you say that to anybody. And there's certain comments I get where I will say love and aloha to you and yours. Like, not just to you, but to those people that mean a lot to you, because your comment made me feel love, and then when I feel like that, I spread that to the people around me, right?
Exactly.
So, and at the same time, I also have to say, because on these podcasts, I know it's real easy to get into this, what do they call it? Virtue signaling? Yeah. I gotta temper what I said with, I can be a dick still, okay? And I'm a person as well, because I sometimes watch certain podcasts and they'll ask a question, and it ends with a person seeming like, God, this is the best person in the world. And then, wow, what a saint. What a deep person. But that's what I try to bring. But at the same time, day to day, I lose my shit and I lose my temper. I curse and swear and I get all pissed off in traffic too. So I want to also temper what I said with, you know, I'm still a person and I'm not a saint, and I got still working out my quirks and stuff, right?
Yeah. Hey, like you said when we was talking earlier, you're just a regular person.
I'm a regular person. But if you're gonna ask me like what I hope to always project when I say aloha to somebody, because to me it's not just a buzzword that kind of says, oh, this guy's from the islands. You know, to me, I'm not a Hawaiian. You know, and I grew up very towny, and people that know me from earlier, they don't know me to say aloha a lot. But as I started to literally feel kind of more connected to, as people are saying, you know, the comments, they say how beautiful this is. Gosh, I'd play, where are you? This is so beautiful. It really gave me an appreciation for how lucky I am to be here. And then you saw the stuff, like you were saying during the COVID, how people are fighting with each other on the mainland over vaccines and whether the pandemic's real and all that stuff. In Hawaii, everybody was just pretty much chill. I'm sure maybe some of that went on, but it just gave me that pandemic, that lockdown, and the development of my social media and hearing people what they'd say about Hawaii, how lucky, how beautiful. Then I started to really say, when you say aloha, that's just not some thing you say, okay, I'm a local, I'm from Hawaii. It has meaning. You're a representative of this place. And and that's another reason why, you know, I get some comments, I don't call them haters. I call them people that are, I consider them, because a lot of the questions are about steroids or that, you know, or you think you're a badass. You know, I totally understand. And, but I need to represent the culture here and not get, and I've always said, look at me, I'm a 55-year-old guy. I'm going to take my shirt off and flex my shit on. If I can't take a little bit of that, then get off the stage, bro. But I never respond with anything like, you know, there's certain things that might kind of, especially if I'm in a mood, I might want to say, you know, right, like, here. But I'm like, bruh, chill out. It's social media. Let them, you can understand it. I used to leave, you know, I've never left comments, but I can see being younger, and I see some guy, I'd be like, hey, look at you, fucking. I understand. But but this Hawaii, I've always loved it here, bro. I mean, that's why when I moved to the mainland, I was only there 5 years. Sorry, I couldn't take it. I had to come back.
And nowhere else feels like home.
It does. You know. For me, the whole time I was there, I felt like a foreigner. I felt like, and you know, I don't know if that's good or bad or not, but I never think twice. You know, so.
Well, frick, right on, Bill. I'm gonna mahalo you for your time. Thank you for coming on all the way to Kahalu or Waihehe.
Beautiful. No, like I said, what a privilege to be here, to meet you, and to just...
No, the privilege is all mine, bro, for real. I really appreciate your time and coming out here and sharing your thoughts to my audience, because I feel like Hawaii has a lot of cool stories to offer.
It does. It does, man. And like I said, just so blessed that we can be here, But thank you.
Thank you. Well, right on, everyone.
Cool.
Until next time, ahui ho.
Love and aloha.